Hello, today I am kissing DASAUNI and SIDAK, register number 465 and 464, are going to present a mini project. The topic of our mini project is football team entry. We are going to use Python and we are going to import Tkinter and SQLite for our mini project. So let us discuss the brief about our mini project with the help of a PPT. So we shall begin with our PPT. Our topic is football team entry, and this comes under the subject advanced programming practice. Myself Ankit Singh Dasani and my teammate SIDAK Singh. So let us move towards the introduction. This is basically a Python script that uses the Tkinter library to create a graphical user interface for a football team data management system. This also uses SQLite database to store the team data and allows the user to input players' informations such as their names, their ages, and positions. The Tkinter window created by the script will show a simple GUI for managing football team management, which will be shown you later by my teammate SIDAK. And at last, when the user clicks the enter button, the data is inserted into the database and the success message is displayed. Talking about the different paradigm used here in this PPT, or we can say in these projects, are event-driven programmings. Event-driven programming is used in GUI development. In this script is used to handle inputs through Tkinter GUI. For example, we have given, as you can see in this PPT, when the user enters the data into the players' names, ages, and position fields and clicks the save button, an event is generated and that triggers the saved data. By by the help of that button, it gets triggered and the saved data and all the data gets inserted into the database. Other programming paradigm used in this script includes object-oriented programming, which is used to create and manage UI elements such as labels, entry fields, and buttons. This is quite basic to understand. Let us move towards our last PPT, and that includes import packages used. This is quite important for us. We are going to discuss this in detail, but the different scripts used here in this projects are Tkinter and SQLite. These are some of the packages that are already present in our Python programming language, and we get imported and we can use these functions very efficiently and very easily. This makes very easy for our code to run such programs. So from here onwards, my friend Siddharth is going to explain you the code and show you the output. Thank you.
Hi, I'm SIDAK Singh, and today I will be your guide to the project code. So I've also set up the output code on the right side of our project so you can have a better understanding how the code works. Let's get started. Our code actually just consists of the UI segment code and the other code. So let's start from the start. See, what this line does is just importing the Tkinter package, and this line just import the SQLite3 package for our database. Connection equal to SQLite3 dot connect. What this line does is just connect to our database named football team data.db. Now next line, connection dot execute. So what this line does is just execute our query, and what our query says is just create a table that does not exist named as team data, which has 5 fields: id, integer, primary key. Hence the id is an integer primary key, and we have a player name with a data type of text. We have a player age data type of integer, and then we have a player position data type also as text, and player shirt integer. What this player shirt is, I also don't know. So let's get it afterwards. So now we have a function save data and also a function populate list box. I will explain this afterwards because it would be much more natural for you to understand after the UI code. Let's get into the UI segment first. So this is the UI segment. Afterwards, hence let's start root equal to tk.tk. What this line does is just create the whole window. You can see on the right side the whole football team data window. Root.title football team data. So it just gives the title as football team data to our window. Now we have name label equal to tk.label. So here you can see player name. So it's our label. And now we have positioned it with a grid. Row 0, column 0, padding of x is 5 and padding of y is also 5. Now we have an entry. You can see here on the right side. Entry on the right side of label player name, and as it shows column. We have also given it padding of x is 5 and padding of y is also 5. Now we have age label. Second one, age label. And we also have an entry. You can see in this line we created a label, and in this line we created an entry. And we positioned them using grid, row 1, column 0, and to the entry, row 1, column 1. Now we have a label of player position. You can see here in the code player label equal to tk dot label, and we have passed the root argument to it so that it creates in the window, and the text is given as player position, hence you can see player position. Now we have also positioned this using the grid on row 2, column 0, with the padding of x is 5 and padding of y also 5. Now we have a position variable. It is tk.string variable. So what it does is just tells the Tkinter package that it's a string variable, and we have set it to the forward, and this will be used for our radio buttons. As you can see on the right side, we have 4 radio buttons: forward, midfield, defense, and goalkeeper. And we have created them here. Position radio 1 as forward, position radio 2 as midfield, position radio 3 as defense, and position radio 4 as goalkeeper, with the value being same. And we have passed the variable position variable, which is the above one, to the all four. Hence if we choose any of these, you can see on the right side it changes the position variable and set it to the value. Now we have just positioned them to the grid. You can see here. Now next one is the shirt number. It's a label again with a shirt number passed as text and root as an argument. Now we have positioned this shirt label to a grid of row 4, column 0, padding of x 5 and padding of y also 5. Now we have a spin box. Now the spin box, what it does is just set from value to this value. So we can choose any value between 1 and 99. And now we have positioned this spin box into a grid. Row 4, column 1, padding of x 5 and padding of y also 5. Now we have a save button. What this button does is just save our data. And you can see like command is equal to save data. If you remember earlier, we have defined a function save data. So whenever you click a button, this executes the function save data. Let's get to our function later. Let's see. Okay, now we have like positioned the button to a grid. Now we have taken a list box as a list box. So hence, as you can see on the right side, we have a list box. And now we have also positioned it using our grid. And this function, like we are passing it to the UI. So what it does is, wait, let me show. Yeah, so it's a function we have defined earlier. It accepts all the list items we saved here. I will show you later. Now we have root.main loop. So it creates a loop. The Tkinter actually creates a loop. So it places all these, you can say, components in this main loop. So each component renders in every frame. Now let's see the function save data. What it does. Now in the save data, we have a variable called name. So it is just a name entry dot get. So it gets the entry where we put here. Now we have a age, which is an integer age entry dot get. So here's the age entry. It gets what we enter here, same as position and same as shirt. Now we have a connection dot execute. So the connection executes this query: insert into team data, player name, player age, player position, player shirt. So what we pass to the query is just these question marks. This is actually a SQL syntax, just normal. So we pass name, age, position, shirt, the earlier variables we declared here. So it just insert it into the table. Now we commit these changes, hence the database accepts it. Now we delete the name entry, delete the age entry, delete the spin box, and just populate the list box. So what it does, wait, I will show you. Now populate list box. So what populate list box does is just delete the previous entry, then connection dot execute select all from team data. So it gets all the data back from database to this list box. I will show you. For row in cursor, so it is just for inserting, you can see. Let me show you how it works. Player name. My name Sidak. Let's enter my age. Age is 20. Yeah, so what I will be? I will be a goalkeeper. It would be a nice thing. Shirt number, I prefer, let's see, 3. Save data. Yeah, so you can see our database just gets this, you can say, field, and now our list box shows this field. So yeah, this is how the code works. Thank you for being a part of my code journey.